My husband is cheating on me with a woman who weighs 110 pounds. Want to know how I know that? Well, I've been away on a work trip for the past week, and I got a notification last night from my smart scale that someone weighing 110 pounds weighed themselves at 3 o'clock in the morning. My husband is 6'4" and well over 200 pounds. Like I said, I've been on a work trip for the past week. I just got home this morning. My loyal, faithful husband is already at work. Last night, while I was in Chicago, asleep in the hotel room, I get a notification on my phone. I leave my ringer on while I'm sleeping, especially while I'm away, just in case something happens at home. So I wake up to this notification. It's my smart scale notifying me that I lost 15 pounds miraculously overnight. I'm immediately concerned because my husband is a big boy, and the only other person in my house is my 2-year-old. Some skinny bitch was in my house with my husband, with my child in the home while I'm away on a work trip, bringing home the bacon. Nice, John. Real nice. I've had a sneaky suspicion that he was seeing someone for a little while now. I travel for work pretty often, and when I did come home from these work trips, I started to notice a few things. The bedroom in particular smelled like a woman's perfume, but not any brand of perfume I am. Things in my bedside table were moved around or missing. When I left, there would be a full box of rubbers, and when I came back, they'd be almost gone. My stockpile of spicy cubes was dwindling very quickly. I don't think my husband is taking my spicy cubes alone and then by himself. It's kind of like something you do with someone else. The real red flag was when my 2-year-old last week asked me when Dad's friend Zoe is coming back over. Daddy doesn't have a friend named Zoe. So when I get this notification last night and the realization starts to set in that, oh my God, he's cheating on me. Cheating on me while I'm on a work trip. This bitch is in my house right now. And my child is home. He has brought this woman around our baby. I immediately, being stupid, screenshot the notification and texted it to my husband. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what 110-pound bizatch is weighing herself on her scale right now at 3 a.m.? He didn't respond until this morning, but he said something along the lines of like, oh, well, it's probably just a glitch. Sure enough, when I came home this morning, bedroom smells like perfume, not my scent. There's used rubbers in the kitchen trash. My spicy cube supply dwindling. It's one thing if you're gonna have an affair, but to bring that woman into our home with our child and for her to have the audacity to use my intimate belongings with my husband, I'm just waiting for this man to come home and confront him. I know he's gonna deny it. My evidence is definitely limited. I don't know what to do. Like, should I put up security cameras or something to try to catch him in the act? Like, I'm going on another work trip next week. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to accuse him of something unless I have like cold, hard facts, evidence. I mean, this is something, but it's not like I have her on film. He's gonna be home from work in a couple hours. I need to have a game plan. Please help me.
All right, I'm going to tell a story of how my ex-husband met her now wife. So my ex-husband came out to me in April, May of 2022. And we were divorced by January of 2023. She had a rapid transition happen over that summer and fall. And in September, when things were really kind of on the downhill, I had flown home to visit my parents. And while I was home, I kept seeing someone showing up on my Ring camera coming to my house. And it was this woman, and we're going to call her BF for best friend. Okay. And so BF keeps showing up at my house, and I've never seen this woman before. And I ask my ex, I say, hey, who's this person that keeps coming over? And she's like, oh, she's just a friend of mine from work. She needs a place to stay. And I was like, oh, like, what's her name? I've never, heard of her. And she's like, well, I said, I don't know how I kind of feel about this other woman being at my house when I'm not there. And she said, well, it's just like friends. If you had a girlfriend over, I wouldn't care. Like, if you had a girl over, it's just like the same thing. We're best friends, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. But also, I just didn't know you had this new best friend. I didn't know about them. And, again, she says, well, if it was another guy, would you care? And I'm like, well, I don't know now, because my ex also had come out to me as bisexual along with everything. I had known that there had been a past with men that she told me years into our marriage that I hadn't previously known, but that's a whole other story. And so anyway, I'm the queen of side tangents, I know. So anyway, this person starts coming over all the time. She says, hey, she's sleeping here. BF is sick. She needs a place to stay that's not at the unit, like on a cot, whatever, because they worked together. So I come back from my trip and I get home and I realize that she had been sleeping in my bed with my ex. And I, again, not my ex at the time. And I was like, that does not feel appropriate at all. Like, we're still married. And my ex said, well, it's just like girlfriends having a sleepover. I'm like, I don't know. It feels off to me. Like, I'm not okay with this. Well, anyway, shortly thereafter, we decide to separate. And so my ex found an Airbnb to move into until she could secure housing and a place to live. And the very first time I go to drop my children off at her Airbnb condo, I knock, we walk in the door, and this woman is there. And I'm like, oh, hi. She's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, she's staying the night. Like, she needs a place to stay, so she's staying with me. And I'm like, no, I don't know this person. I'm not leaving my children with you and this person. And my ex said, well, you need to trust me and who I am, and I'm not going to let them be with someone dangerous. And I'm like, I'm not okay with this. I start to take my kids and be like, I'm leaving. And she got very upset with me. It kind of caused a scene. She was really upset. So you can't take my children from me. And I'm saying, I don't feel safe with this. The children did end up staying. But it was it was so hard. I was so upset about it. Like, at what point did you think you should have informed me that there was going to be someone else staying there? And, it just was not okay. And then when my ex moved into her new home, same thing, this BF follows her and is living there. And I keep getting told, oh, she's looking for an apartment. She's going to be moving out. This is temporary. Well, months and months go by and it's not temporary anymore. So after a few months, I finally ask, I just kind of had this feeling and I kind of asked, hey, are you guys dating? Like, I just want to know because you are living together and the kids are there. I do feel like I need to be informed if there's anything else going on just so we can discuss, boundaries and whatnot. No, we're not dating. Well, I'm on the phone with my daughter. She's FaceTiming me. She's like 2 or 3. And she walks into the bathroom and on FaceTime I see my ex and BF in the shower together. And it was so bad. It was so bad. I immediately call and I text and say, you guys need to come over. We need to have a talk right now. Like, 1, that's so inappropriate that my daughter was able to walk in on them. 2, why are you doing that while the children are there? 3, just so many things. You could list it out. I'm so upset. They don't really address it at all. We find a time. They come over to the house and I'm asking them, hey, why did you think that was okay? And why did you not even apologize or approach me to talk about it up until this point? Now that I asked, I was like, oh, we were hoping you didn't see anything. We were hoping you didn't actually see anything on FaceTime. Oh, I saw. So anyway, it was in that conversation that BF tells me, oh yeah, we became best friends this past summer. We immediately clicked when I got to the unit in June or July. We immediately clicked and we've been inseparable best friends since then. And that was one of the most hurtful things in my entire divorce process, was to find out that while this summer where I thought we were working through things and I was really trying to make efforts, I thought, and maybe they weren't the best efforts, maybe it wasn't enough for my ex. I really thought I was making efforts to see if we could make our marriage work. That my ex had actually made a new best friend, never told me about this person, and was confiding in her about everything going on, was relying on her input and advice on transitioning and decisions she was making. And this BF was really the one kind of there for her and advising her and helping her. And I know that my ex needed someone, but it also was very painful that I was not included in those decisions and she'd been turning to someone else. And that is where I do feel like it kind of crossed the border into an emotional affair, because I know they needed support, but also I wasn't informed about this person at all. And I would have liked to think I would have been supportive that she found a friend who was there for her and could help her through the process. Maybe I wouldn't have, but I just felt like this friendship was kept so hidden from me, and especially the fact that when she said, oh, we clicked right away and we were just best friends and we just had this connection, it was just so painful for me to hear that. And then in that same conversation, BF told me, oh, I'm not planning on moving out. I'm definitely staying. And up until the week before, my ex had been saying, oh yeah, she's finding another apartment. She's planning on moving out. So there were just a lot of lies and deceit along the way. And again, not that I needed to know every single thing, but I felt like because there were children involved in staying at the home, it would have been prudent to share all that information and to at least have open conversations and to set those boundaries. So Just funny enough, fast forward to the following Thanksgiving of, I think, 2024. And they got engaged, and I did not know. And we were in the parking lot of this random strip mall, and my son goes, "Hey, maybe that's where BF got the ring for Dad." And I said, "What ring? Like the ring?" And they're like, "Yeah, maybe that's where she got that ring that she proposed with." And I was like, "Oh." And this happened like 2 weeks before. So I texted and said, "Hey, are you engaged?" And my ex said, "Yeah, we are. I'm surprised it took the kids so long to tell you. I thought they would have told you right away." I'm like, "Congratulations." Just a funny way to find out. The best part about it all was that I was on Marco Polo with my siblings, and so they like saw it happening in real time. I just like, "Oh, okay." And then they got married, and they told me they were getting married in August, and that's when they were doing like their big wedding with the kids and everything, and that's fine. Well, come to find out that they definitely got civilly married in February, and I found that out because we are cordial, and I was at her house getting the kids one time, and I look up and there's a big like plaque above their kitchen saying like, established so-and-so date, and it was definitely February when they told me that they had actually, like, they only told me their wedding date was in August. So it's just kind of funny things at that point. Like, those things don't really matter and make a difference in my children's life, but yeah, it's just been a wild ride. But that's the story of my ex and her new wife and their whole relationship.
Memories with my dad that altered my brain chemistry. My brain chemistry. I was a daddy's girl my whole life. My dad passed away in 2020, and I almost died. So I'm going to tell you good and bad core memories. When I was younger, he caught me looking at my butthole in the mirror. What are you doing? Oh my God. Still to this day, I'm embarrassed. And my dad's literally dead. I was on the sink like this. In the mirror, at my butthole like this. When he walked in, I was face to face with him, and he said, "Get the fuck down." I was all... And I jumped down butt naked. What the actual fuck is wrong with her? Don't you ever want to look at your dirt star? I still will you. No. One time I was walking up the stairs and I was pregnant with Brayden, and I farted, and he was behind me. So I basically farted in his face, and he told me that the fart sounded like this. Black! So that was an inside joke for years. I would always go, "Hey Dad, black!" When I was a teenager, I wanted to be like 27 when I was 7. I had high heels. He took them away from me. Who sold me those? Maddie knew who she was from a very early age. And I always had thongs, and they were taking them away and hiding them. So then I was just like re-wearing dirty thongs because I was like, "You will not take these from me." Also, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not. But I really like to blow swag. If I was... One time I went to Casper, Wyoming to basically get off of pills, and instead me and my dad went to the bar every night. My mom didn't like it. She was like, "Scott, stop. She's trying to get clean." I'm all, "Shut up, Patty. Step it." Would like burn out in his tundra. We're all, "See ya." We went to the Horseshoe Bar. We got Pepsi. I was addicted to Fireball. Hello? So me and my dad get drunk, and it's time for us to go home, and he's driving, and he goes to take a drink of a Gatorade, and I put a cigarette butt in it, and he went, "What the fuck?" And I was literally laughing so hard I almost shit my pants. He didn't think it was funny, but I was like, Then I had to get out of the truck to go pee, and I fell in mud, and I had no toilet paper, and my dad was like laughing at me. But you guys, it was a core memory. We had a bottle of vodka that we drank on the hammock, looking at the moon. We fall asleep on the hammock with the vodka on the ground. The next day we get snowed in. Oh! My dad's like, "Do you want to get drunk again?" I'm like, "Wait, sure. Where's the vodka?" It's outside. There was bugs inside of it, and me and my dad drained the bugs out and drank the vodka. Oh my God. My mom was like, "You guys!" Graduated dental school. He flew to Oregon to be there at my graduation, and I told my dad, "Okay, but please do not get drunk. Like, please." And we met up at the graduation place, and his button-up was uneven, so it was like hanging, and he was all, "Lace!" I was all, "Dad." After the graduation, me and my friends all want to go downtown. My dad comes, you guys. He's hitting on all my friends. He's all, "What's up, girl?" This memory isn't good. It's pretty sad, actually. Engraved in my brain. It was on rugs. I wouldn't really call my dad because I was ashamed. One time I called him and I was like, "Hi, Dad." Like, I was talking to him and I was crying. Obviously, I'm on rugs. You know what he said to me? He said, "Lacey, I already thought about what I'm going to say at your funeral." He said, "I already grieved you." I'm like, dude. Also, my dad posting on Facebook, he would literally post and be like, "Hello," like shit like that. I was like, Dad. All the voicemails I have saved of my dad, he literally goes, "Hey, Lace, it's Dad." I'm like, "Dad, I fucking know it's you. Stop saying it's you." I miss my dad, dude. The day I got out of prison, one of the girls comes back from the kitchen, and when you're in the kitchen, you can see where the parking lot is, and she goes, "Lacey, I think I saw your dad out there. Is he like really short with red hair?" I went, I remember walking out the gate, seeing my dad, and I was smiling so big, and he was hungover, you guys, and his eyes were like parting 2 separate ways, and I was like, "No fucking why did you get drunk last night?" He's like, "I just need a coffee, chill." On the way back home from the prison for 4 hours, he kept talking to me about how much he hated man buns. Like, what's the point of them? They're so ugly. Like, God, like, oh my God. Relax. Who hurt you with a man bun? I'll get them. I've been to prison. Whenever my dad would drink, he would always talk about my real mom. I was like, let that bitch go. She left us. And then she jumped in front of a train. When I was in foster care, my dad would come to visit me and he would always knock on the door and pretend he was the pizza man. I'd run up to the door and I'd be like, hello. And then I would see it was my dad and I'd go, Dada! I would jump in his arms and he took us to Six Flags and it's a core memory. When I lived in my first house with my dad, I would never sleep in my room and I'd always sleep in his room and he'd get mad at me because he said I'd always kick him in the nuts. He used to take me to work with him when he was a welder and I was a little girl and he'd let me sit at his desk and I just put nuts and bolts together like this. La, la. My dad was the best drummer I've ever heard to this day. He could play any song in 2 seconds. Let him listen to it for 2 seconds. When my dad died, I didn't think I could like live on this earth without him. Literally, I thought I was gonna die. People always say, I don't know how you do it. I don't know what I would do if I lost my dad. Well, I don't really have a choice, do I? I didn't have a choice. But then I realized the best way to honor my dad is to take care of myself, so that's what I did. I just want to always keep his memory alive, you know? I love you guys. Don't ever take your family for granted because you never know when it could be anybody's last day. Love you. Bye.
Get ready with me while I talk about how I'm pissed off at my dead husband. Story time. So my husband passed away August of 2024. He took his life. He left a lot of hard drives behind. He would take a lot of pictures and he was constantly backing up his computers and everything. He was a very responsible computer user. And so I've had these hard drives in what is it called? A bin. I've had these hard drives in a bin for quite some time. And so today, right before therapy, I decided that I was going to go through some of them. I'm like, you know what? It would probably be a lot of fun to see some of these pictures and just, see what he had on there and stuff. And so I'm going through them and I'm like finding pictures of his kids and him. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute. And I start finding pictures of when him and I were first dating. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Sorry, I needed more lighting. What I also start to find are pictures of him with other girls. And they are intertwined into the pictures of me and him. So there's a picture of like me and him going on a date one day and then the next day. And mind you, these are all date stamped. And then there's a picture of him, with somebody else the next day. Not just one girl, multiple girls. And then I go and I look and I see he has folders of other girls and their pictures. And this is all very intertwined with mine and his relationship. Also super fun. There was nudes of other girls intertwined. So now I have seen email confirmation that he was possibly talking to other girls while him and I were together, but I've never seen the photo proof of it. So imagine that you're together with someone for 13 years and you're finding pictures of them with somebody else during a time that you thought that you were exclusive. And they're not even here to answer for themselves. They're dead. And honestly, I mostly just feel stupid. Like stupid for, I'm gonna need to reblend that. But I feel stupid forever. Like, I just remember being so in love with him. I was so in love with him. I adored him so much. And I just remember, like, really thinking that he was committed to me. And then I went on to have 3 children with this man. Granted, we had good times. We had times that, yes, I do think he was really committed to me. I don't think he cheated on me our entire relationship. Or maybe I'm just delulu, you guys. But just showing another normal part of grief and the grieving process, which sometimes is finding out things about your loved one that really hurts. And they're not here to answer for it. So you know what? Fuck you, Abraham. I hope you're rolling in your dirt.
Imagine moving out of state with a man, away from your friends and family, away from his friends and family, just y'all two, a fresh start. You find a good job, he finds a job. And everything is going good. Like, it's seeming like a healthy relationship again. It's just really going good. Then all of a sudden, 3 months down the line, he started acting funny. And when I say acting funny, he's not, like, you know, it's not how it was when y'all first moved down here and everything was going good. It's becoming toxic again, and you're not ready to leave the relationship because you moved out of state. You did a lot to make the relationship work. So you like, let me try to figure out and find out what's going on. So you hire a private investigator, and he tells you that he's been seeing him with the woman that doesn't live too far from y'all new apartment, back and forth basically to her house every day. So now, not knowing how to approach the situation, you get this information, you get the address, and you go sit outside the house. Not directly outside, because of course you don't want to be seen. You see the girl, she's cute, and she's going in the house, but she has a child with her. The child's about 2 or 3. So now it's getting weird. So, okay, you have the name, you leave, you don't address anything. You have the name and stuff, you go stalk the socials just to see, like, you know, what's going on. Mind you, I forgot to add that he was a truck driver. So he's been on the road all over prior to y'all moving down there. Skimming through the girl Facebook photos, you see the girl, the baby, and your man. So now it's getting weirder. You're not fully knowing how to address the situation, because it's like crash out, kill him, or just peacefully leave the situation. It's killing you because he's coming in the house grumpy like, bitch, you hate me. Come to find out, you are possibly the father of a child that I never knew anything about. And you love your family so bad that you moved me down here with them, away from my friends and family, to cheat on me and have a family outside of me. So now around the house, you're being like, you know, real nonchalant, whatever the case may be. Walking around, you're not cooking. You are cleaning because, like, that's the only thing that you can do. Well, must do. But you're not really, like, doing any of the extra stuff. So he asks what's wrong. You're just saying, like, you know, you're not in the mood. And he says, okay, like, you know, to get you in the mood, let's just go on a little staycation, whatever the case may be. Now, y'all go on a weekend trip, and you only reaping the benefits because you know you're going to leave eventually. Day 2, Saturday, is a knock at the door. And when I go away, I always put the do not disturb sign on the door. So who could this be? Granted, I don't open the door anyways, but the knocking continues. He's in the shower, so you say, who? It's the girl. Now, the whole time you never crashed out or wild on her because you never knew that she, like, whether she knew about you or not. Come to find out, she knew about you, but the plan was not for you to move down around them. It was just for him to leave you, move, and be a family. This is his son. They've been seeing each other for a while. Just about the same time that y'all was dating. She's like, I'm sorry to tell you this way, but he said that he was going to tell you, and this, that, and the third. So now it's just all one big headache. You tell her, give you a minute, y'all can meet up, because you don't want him to know that you know yet. She leaves the hotel, and you tell him that you don't feel well, but you want food. And he's acting weird, like all of a sudden you're not feeling well, this and the third, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys about how my D1 football player college boyfriend cheated on me the entire time with his tutor. Honestly, I totally forgot about this man because it was so long ago, but let's dive in. So, he was older than me, so he was actually in college while I was still in high school. So we were only 1 year apart, so I was like going into my senior year of high school, and he was a freshman at a D1 university that I will not say the name of. And so anyway, I lived an hour away from the university, so when I wanted to go and see him, I would just drive there because it was literally only an hour away. Now, like I stated, he was a freshman, so he did have a roommate. He was also on the football team as well. And whenever I would go and visit, we would be like crammed in this dorm room because in the beginning it was camp, I believe, like football camp. So they were busy, you know, doing all the camps and all of that. And so I wasn't allowed to go there during camp, but I went there right before, and then I went there right after when it was done. And then I also went to the spring game because he obviously was like, are you going to come to my spring game? And I was like, yeah, obviously, absolutely. And he was also, I would like to state, very, very good. So as a freshman, he was a starting corner. So not a wide receiver. I switched it up. He was a corner, which I would like to state as dating one and also being an NFL reporter. Corners, anybody in the secondary is the worst possible position to date on a football team, and I stand on that. So he was a freshman starting corner, and honestly, we all just thought like he was that guy, like period. And I was there to support for anything and everything that he needed. Like I obviously lived an hour away, and it was harder for him to come see me than me to go to him because he had practices and meetings and tutoring and things like that. So he could really never come to me. He did come to me a couple times, but more or less I would go to him because I was also still in high school. So if he came to me, he would have to stay with my family, and it just was easier for me to go there. If you guys know anything about football players, they don't actually really graduate college on their own, okay? So they are not like the brightest bulbs in the box. And he actually wasn't really that like dumb. He was actually pretty smart, but in order to play football, they had to carry a very high GPA. So most of the time, the university would hire tutors at the university to tutor them, and that's how they would pass their classes. Obviously, they traveled a lot for football. They had to go to different games. They were always missing assignments, missing exams, and all that stuff. So they had tutors in place so that they could get through these classes and essentially pass and have a high enough GPA to play. So for reference as well, I am older, don't be rude, I'm 29. So when we were dating, he did not have NIL. NIL money was not a thing at the time. And I don't know if this is still a thing, but you had to have a specific GPA in order to play. D1 was more lenient on it than like D2s and D3s, but he had to pass his classes and make sure he kept up like a GPA in order to not get in trouble and all that stuff. So like this was before NIL money. Like they didn't get anything. The only thing they got was free food, free rent. They could go to the facility whenever they wanted, obviously, and then they got hella gear. Like, that was all they got back then. Honestly, the football players these days, with all the NIL money they're making, like, girls who are dating them, I get it. Like, I get it if that's what you want. But back then, there was really no reason why would you date a college athlete? Like, why would you date a college athlete? It made no sense. But it was like the cool thing to do, and everyone did it. But literally, y'all, they came from nothing. Like the majority of them came from nothing. They weren't getting paid to play like they are today. They didn't have cars. They barely, if they weren't eating at the facility, they didn't have money for food. Like, all they got was basically free room and board. Like, that was literally it. So it wasn't as cool as it is today because obviously the athletes today get a lot more. But anyway, I digress. So we were dating through an entire season, and I would go to every single freaking game. It was, like I said, a good hour away. So I would drive on Saturday mornings, Saturday afternoons, Saturday nights, whatever the game was, and I would go up there and I would watch him play, and I was the supportive girlfriend and all that, and I thought everything was hunky-dory. Like, honestly, I was very young and naive back then, obviously still being in high school. I just didn't know shit about shit, to be honest. And I just thought that everything was all peaches and sunshines and rainbows when it wasn't. And I'm also like not the type of girlfriend to be like all up under you all the time and asking you 1,012 questions. Like that's just never me, never was me. And being in high school, I was one of the best basketball players on my team. I had games. I had to basically take care of my two little sisters. Like I had a lot going on. But I would try to go up there every single weekend, and then if they had away games, obviously I'd watch him on TV. So everything's hunky-dory, like cool, whatever. And he would always have these tutoring hours. And I was a student athlete as well. Well, I eventually was one in college. But you have to get so many student like tutoring hours, and you have to go to the library to do study tables for so many hours a week when you're a student athlete. So he was always going to the tutor and always had like study tables. And honestly, it literally made sense to me because they had to do a certain amount of hours to literally be able to play. So it made sense. I would also like to state, if this was in today's day and age, I probably would have caught on a lot quicker. But y'all, you have to remember, like back then, I don't even think we had Instagram stories. Like we were on Snapchat, barely on Instagram. We would use Instagram to post pictures, but like not like what it is today. So anyway, we're like midway through the season, and I'm going to the games. I'm bringing my friends to games. I'm in the family section. He's having me come to all these games. Everything's good. Everything's great. Everyone's awesome. And then I'm at school one day, LOL, because again, he is a freshman and I am a senior in high school. So I am at school one day, and one of my friends sends me a picture, and she's like, why is this girl wearing his jersey at a game? And I never wore jerseys. Like, that just wasn't my cup of tea. I liked to dress out. Like, y'all know I'm a fashionista. And I would like to wear, like, cute outfits to the games and, like, maybe put his number, like, on my face or something. I wasn't big into the jersey wearing because it wasn't cute enough. So anyway, I also was not Inspector Gadget. I did not investigate. I did not look for girls. I just didn't. Like, I had no reason to, so there was, like, no point in doing that. So, lo and behold, she sends me this picture of this girl, and she's clearly at the game, like, clearly cheering him on, and she is wearing his jersey with his number on it. And I'm like, that's odd. So I go to her page, and she was a freaking redhead. Nothing against redheads, but y'all, the amount of times that I have been cheated on with a redhead, okay? I could retire by now if I had $1 for every time that happened. She looked nothing like me. She was like a pale little redhead, and honestly, she looked smart as shit. So it made sense that she was the tutor. So I'm like looking through her Instagram page, and she literally was posting at every single game with his jersey on and being like, go number 2. If he's a single digit number, run. Just run immediately. She was wearing his jersey, number 2, to every single freaking game that I was at. We were both at the same freaking game. And so I call him, and I'm like, who is this? And he was like, oh my gosh, it's nothing crazy. Like, that's just my tutor. It's nothing crazy. Q DM the girl, because honestly at this point I was like, okay. So I end up reaching out to her, and I'm like, hey girl, one of those. And I just was like, hey, blank told me that you were his tutor, like, just reaching out to confirm because I don't believe men at all, and wanted to make sure like that you were just his tutor because I saw that you were at the games in his jersey. And she was like, oh, that's really weird because no, he's my boyfriend and we've been dating for a year. So obviously I leave him per usual. He essentially had an out-of-town girlfriend, me, and he had an in-town on-campus girlfriend, the tutor. So funny part of this whole thing is I leave him immediately. I'm like, yeah, I'm done with you. You lied to me. I'm over this. And they ended up dating for 4.5 years. And then she left him after he did not make it to the NFL because he peaked freshman year and then went downhill, did not go to the league. She left him when he did not go to the league. 4.5 years later, he tried to run it back to me when he saw what I became. And I said, sir, beat it.
Story time on how my crazy ex exposed me to my whole family. Okay, so me and this guy, we dated from like the kind of the end of 8th grade year into like the end of freshman year. And our relationship was pretty toxic. Like, we would always be on and off. And yeah. But then Valentine's Day comes up or whatever, and we spend Valentine's together. And then like I think like the next weekend after Valentine's Day, there was this quince of this girl that we both went to middle school with. And I had already planned going to this quince. Like, I was already telling my friends, like, yeah, I'm going, like, you know, because I wanted to go have fun. And when I go to quinces, like, I'm not the type to dance with guys because I'm really not. I'm the type to lead people, like, because I'm really tall, so I usually don't find people to dance with. So, yeah, I don't dance with guys when I go to quinces. But basically, he got really mad. He was like, no, like, I don't want you going or whatever. Or he didn't say that, but he got really, like, protective about it. Like, I remember that we had each other's Snapchat. And I went in and I saw that he was texting this girl talking about are you going to blank's quince? And the girl was like, no, like, I'm not. And then she was like, why? And then he was like, oh, because I wanted you to take care of Regina. Because, like, you know, I don't want her doing anything bad. And I was like, bro, what is your problem? Like, that was actually weird. So I obviously got mad, but at the end I was like, I'm not going. Like, I'm just not going to go. And I texted my mom. I was like, I'm just not gonna go anymore because no, like, he just ruined the vibe. He just ruined my mood. Like, I just don't want to go anymore. But then he was like, Regina, if you don't go, I'm gonna leave you. Like, he got mad because I told him that I wasn't gonna go anymore. And then at the end, I ended up going because I was like, oh, heck no, like, he's not gonna ruin my fun. And I had already told my friends that I was going. And one of my friends was like, Regina, the only reason I'm going is because you're going. You better freaking go, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going. So I went or whatever, and it was so fun. Like, it was actually so fun. I loved it. But then during the quince, like, I get a text and he's like, can you bring me all my stuff tomorrow to school? I mean, on Monday. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, can you just bring me my stuff? Because I had like one of his chains and one of his hoodies, I think. And I was like, are you breaking up with me? And he was like, I think it's for the best, my love. When I say I got so mad, I was like, you know what? Whatever. Because honestly, I was so done with him being that toxic. Like, we had talked about it so many times. About him stop being toxic. But no. He was so controlling. Like, he didn't really, like, let me have friends or anything. The only friends I had were gay. And if I had another friend, like, he would get upset about it. But yeah. But that happens. And then that same night, one of my friend's friend thought I was cute. So I think I added him on Snapchat or something. And yeah. But like, honestly, it was nothing serious. Like it was not that deep. But whatever, we go back to school Monday. And that's the day that I'm going to give him his stuff. And we had already like talked about like talking in person. I don't know why he wanted to talk to me in person, but yeah. And then on my last period, before I was like supposed to see him to give him his stuff, he was like, you're talking to somebody else? And I was like, yo, how did you find out? I was like, hello? And yeah, he basically found out or whatever. And he got so mad. He was texting me on my phone. He was like, don't ever talk to me again. I hate you with my whole entire heart. Something like that. And he got really upset about it. He was like, just give me my stuff. I don't even want to talk to you. I was like, okay. So whatever, I give him his stuff. I go home. Everything's fine. But then I remember we used to talk through Google Docs. Like, because I get my phone taken up at night. Because my parents are strict. And I remember, like, at night, I got on there just thinking, like, oh, do you think he texted me? So I went on there and he was online. Like, he was typing. He was like, Regina, please don't talk to him. Like, please. He was begging me. And I was like, oh, heck no. But he was begging me. He was like, Regina, please, like, don't talk to him. Just don't talk to him. And I was like, boy. I was like, I was trying to, like, calm him down. I was like, it's over between us. Like, you broke up with me. Like, stop. But then he gets so mad. He's like, if you don't stop talking to him, I'm going to text your mom. And I'm going to tell her that me and you did stuff together. If you know, you know. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had already like gotten in trouble with my mom for stuff like that. So I know she's going to like smite me basically. So I'm like, bro, are you dead ass? And I didn't believe him. I was like, nah. But no, he was actually really pissed. So I was like, okay, whatever. And he was like, I was like, okay, I'll stop talking to him. I was like, okay, because he didn't really matter that much to me. But then he was like, okay, give me your Snapchat account. Give me your Snapchat password so I can go in and make sure that you're not talking to him anymore. And I was like, oh, heck no, you're crazy. You're actually insane. Because it was like through our school computer, so I couldn't go on Snapchat and like check what he was actually going to do. So I was like, no, like, I'm not going to give you my Snapchat. You're crazy. I'll do it in the morning and I'll show you that we stopped talking. And he was like, no, because I already know you're going to post something and I already know you're going to do something, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I ended up getting off. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this. Because I didn't believe that he was actually going to do it. So I get off of my laptop and I go to sleep. And I'm like, I'm actually like ventilating. I'm like, bro, God help me, please, God. But he texts my mom. And in the morning, my mom like is so pissed. She's so mad. And she shows me the message. And basically he was like, he was like, I know your mom, I thought your kid was an angel, but I don't even know what he said. He was just talking about she sent me stuff and other guys and me and her did stuff together and stuff like that. And then he also had threatened to like show it to other people, like leak. So I was like, oh heck no, like this guy's actually crazy. I felt so betrayed, like so betrayed, because he used to always tell me like, oh, you can trust me, like blah 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 blah, and I really couldn't. But after that, he ended up telling like his whole school that I was literally like, that I was such a like bad person and that I did this and that with other guys, and he basically painted me as the bad guy, which that's fine, whatever. But yeah, but anyways, after that I got my phone took and I got really grounded. But my mom wasn't gonna stay with her freaking arms crossed, so she texted his mom. My mom texted his mom being like, your son threatened my daughter and your son and my daughter did stuff together. And yeah, my mom's a baddie for that. Love her, but that's basically what happened. And then he tried apologizing, like, I don't know when. I think it was during the summer that he tried to apologize. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I don't really forgive him because I don't. But yeah, it's basically what happened. And yeah. And he still stalks me. I know he does. Because he's a little weirdo, but I forgive him because God told me to forgive and forget. So I did. And I'm doing better. I got my phone back. My mom trusts me now. I'm not lustful no more. So God is good all the time, guys. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Okay, bye.
Story time as to why me and my boyfriend broke up. Trust me, as much as I don't want to like trauma dump on you guys, a lot of you have been wondering, so I'm just gonna let it all out in one video. So we broke up yesterday, and what caused the breakup was he was getting very aggressive with me and tried to snatch my phone out of my hands. And it was because he thought I was cheating on him with a coworker, all because he sent me a snap. And he thought that this coworker had a crush on me, so he thought it was weird that we had each other added. This coworker is not at all my type. We are friends inside of work, not outside of work, nothing like that. It's nothing very serious to where my boyfriend should have freaked out like he did. And I was in his car at this time, and we were in the parking lot, and he'd even asked to see my phone. He didn't even say hi to me when I got in his car. It was nothing like that. And he just randomly tried to snatch my phone out of my hand literally as I was using it. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, let me see, let me see. That's where he started getting a little bit angry and like aggressive. So what did I do? I jumped out of his car and I walked inside my work building because that's where I was at the moment. And then right after I walked in, I broke up with him. Because I was always a believer that little stuff like that, you can't let them get away with, because then that's when starts happening in relationships and it starts getting like more and more aggressive over time. We were going to hit 5 months. We were going to hit it on June 2nd. So at that point, we should at least have a lot of trust together, but we literally never did. The relationship was always rocky, and then that was just my final breaking point because I could feel that we were both pushing away from the relationship. And it gets to a point where if you're physically aggressive with me, like, I don't want to be in a relationship like that. And he didn't really care when we broke up. Like, it wasn't like a big thing to him. I texted his mom because I was like pretty close to her in my mind, but I knew deep down she didn't like me because like when we first started dating, she said that if I ever laid hands on her son that he was allowed to hit me back. It was literally all because I jokingly said I was going to hit him with my hairbrush. So after I texted her and said that we broke up, she was like, oh, my son deserves someone who's willing to fight for him and all this stuff like that, just trying to make me feel bad that I broke up with him. He was always a big mama's boy, so that should have been my first cue to get out of that relationship because it was very, very toxic. So he knew I had a platform, and then over time he wanted me to stop posting videos of myself, like lip syncing videos and stuff like that. He kept commenting on all my stuff, making sure people knew I had a boyfriend. And it's like, I already had him in my bio. I already posted him all the time. People knew I had a boyfriend. So he was just going out of his way to be more controlling and literally block everyone out of my life. So yeah, that's what happened. And I didn't really feel anything yesterday. Like, my feelings were completely cut off yesterday. It's like everything happened all in one moment. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sleep on it. I woke up, my heart was hurting so bad. It's like I'm grieving someone who is alive, and that's the worst type of grief you can deal with. But I am going out tomorrow night, so hopefully I will feel a little bit better. And of course, everyone at work that I'm friends with, they have been so supportive through everything that I've been telling them, so thank you to all of them. But yeah, I hope this video answers all of your questions about what happened, and yeah, that's all. Bye, guys.
It's story time, babes. I don't know why I'm feeling like reminiscing on the old psychopath self that was me. I'm gonna try to make this as quickly as I can. So long story short, this was like junior, senior year of high school. I started dating this boy who was a twin. But before that, this girl, I could not stand her. I'm not hard to get along with. I just can't stand the fake people, the people that just like love drama. Her and I were constantly butting heads. She was constantly trying to degrade me, constantly just being whatever. She wanted my man. So you want to know what she did? She started dating the twin brother. But then what she would constantly do in front of not only me, but her man being, you know, brothers, she'd come up to my man and be like, do you think my hair looks good? Do you think, oh my God, do you think? Mind you, if I dyed my hair blonde, she would dye her hair blonde the next day. If I went back to brunette, the next day she's brunette. And then she'd sit there, do you like it? Now, mind you, these boys' sister, her and I were like this, and we hated her. So we came up with a brilliant plan. Since she wanted to copy me so dang bad, I exercised this 2 times and she still didn't learn. First time, I got a so realistic, like so unbelievably realistic red, and I'm talking bright red wig. Posted up pictures with it. You wanna know what she did? You guessed it, she dyed her hair red. But like, for real. She comes over to the house, I take the wig off. Oh, babes, the soul left her body. Then me, her, and my ex-boyfriend's sister go shopping somewhere, okay? And I kind of look at her, we have the same idea without saying anything. I point out this shirt. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. This is like the cutest shirt. That thing was fugly, okay? She buys the shirt. She's wearing it around, so proud. I mean, ugly shirt, okay? Comes into the house in front of my man at that time again. Do you like my shirt? Do you like my shirt? Me and the boyfriend's sister are laughing our butts off. Well, then I get speculation that this girl is cheating on her man, and I'm not having it. So I dig deep. I start doing my FBI work, okay? I make a fake Instagram account, and it's a woman, and I get to be real close with her. I've got the patience, okay? I then get her to trust me to a point where she, I'm not kidding, sends me photos, videos, timestamps, everything about how long she's been cheating on him with, who it was, when it happened, all sorts of stuff. Finding out the times when this girl, we're gonna call her Ashley, when Ashley would be like, oh, sorry, I can't hang out, I'm out of town for like a funeral or something. I had those timestamps showing that she went on a trip with this man, and I'm eating it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this means I am finally never gonna have to see this girl again. Because she was kind of smelly too, I'm not gonna lie. I then gather up all this proof and I give it to the brother, okay? The brother's very sad, of course. He doesn't know what to do. And I was like, what would you like me to do? He tells me I can do whatever I want to. Because he knows I haven't liked her. And when I tell you, like, the excitement I felt that day. So, we gathered up all the stuff that she gave to him ever. I'm talking notes, presents, anything. Put that up in a bag, printed up all the pictures, took screenshots from the videos of
these two together, wrote things on these things that won't be repeated, drove to her mother's house because her mother would not condone this behavior at all. Very big Christian lady, okay? Really didn't even like her own daughter, so the four of us, my ex-boyfriend, his brother, me, and the little sister, we drive to the house, we put all the stuff on the front porch, we put all the pictures and whatever on the front porch so that her mom, her dad, her brother, and her could all see it. And we didn't really stop there because we just didn't think I didn't think that was enough. You know what I mean? This girl had been torturing me for like 2-3 years straight. So then I also knew where she worked, and I was also like this with her boss, okay? Her boss texted me and is like, hey, have you seen Ashley? She said that she was sick, but you know, she was just fine yesterday. I knew exactly where she was. She was at the man's house. And this happened to be her last like straw before she got fired. Could I have lied? Absolutely. Did I? No. I gave her proof that she was at that man's house. You might be asking, well, how did you get proof? I found out this man's name, found him on Facebook, looked at the surrounding area because he was real big on his truck. So I looked at all the pictures of this truck and found a bunch of stuff that looked relatively familiar. So I was like, okay, this is probably where he lives. Sure enough, we go and find the surrounding area, find a house that looked somewhat familiar. There was the two of them sitting outside. Snapped a picture, sent it to the boss. Done. She lost her job. It was McDonald's though. Like, don't worry. It's not like I ruined her life. Icing on the cake was truly somehow, I forget who told me this, but somewhere along the lines from her driving from that man's house that day to go home, she had hit a deer and totally totaled her car, but had no job to fix it. It's probably a really good thing that I've relaxed a lot since then, because I would probably be in jail.
We listen and we don't judge, except these are things we all judge but shouldn't. Sometimes when my friends tell me that they're starting a new hobby, skill, or something they want to get into, their biggest fear is that people will judge them for being a beginner and look like they don't know what they're doing. But being a beginner is honestly something I love to see, and in my opinion, one of the best things you can allow yourself to be. Your potential is endless. You can choose any direction to go and you can afford to fail. When I first started doing my makeup, I really let myself be a blank canvas. I would let my friends do their makeup on me. I explored different styles. I tried dramatic, tried basic, and I failed a lot because even 6 months in, I feel like my makeup still looked mid at best. But look at me now. I think I can glam myself pretty decent while talking to you guys. I say as I do this crazy looking bronzer step. By the way, Flower Nose gifted me a new mirror. I feel like you'll love this. And so whenever I see mutuals start that gym account or share a new song they wrote, I feel so happy and proud for them. Because letting yourself be bad at something first provides the perfect feedback loop of how to improve. And so if you think about it like that, all experts and professionals were once beginners who never stopped learning. I'd love it if you want to comment something you're starting your beginner journey on. Personally, I'm learning how to drive again. I don't have my actual license yet because I'm really scared of getting behind the wheel, but I just got a new driving coach, so that's step 1 of my beginner journey. The next thing I'll never judge is if people tell you you're too quiet or you should try talking more. There's something that icks me about telling people how they should act. Usually when I get quiet in most conversations, it's because I'm lost in thought or honestly just tired. I've also learned to be much more okay with just enjoying the silence with people. There's something really comforting about mutually chilling. Another thing though is that some teachers grade on verbal participation, so the more times you raise your hand and talk, the better. I'm starting to question that because it's not about how much you say, it's about what you say and how you say it. And I've always found that the times I stay quiet and listen are when I learn the most. So next time people say you're too quiet, maybe it's because their mind isn't quiet enough. I also love hanging out with yappers where I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Because just like how you guys say you enjoy my get ready with me's, I also love a good story time. Makeup done. I hope you have a great day and thanks for hanging out. Mwah.
Okay, so I've been working through this cheating scandal in therapy, right? And my insinuating trust issues that have come to the surface. And one of the real twists of the knife that happened was when I first found out that my ex was cheating and that woman sent me all of their screenshots of their little conversations, I was like, holy shit. And I looked at the date of one of their conversations and I was like, what were he and I talking about on that day? Because how could these two things be happening at once? So I scrolled back in our text thread to read our conversation from one of these days, and the way my jaw dropped when I saw what he said to me. So he was being very quiet that day, right? And I had noticed because Aries. And I say to him, hey, you're not being as responsive as you normally are. What's going on? And I think I made a joke, you talking to someone else? Obviously not thinking that he actually was. This man says to me,
an accusation is usually an admission of guilt, while he's actively sending beep, beep, pictures elsewhere. He's insinuating that because I'm asking if he's talking to someone else, that must mean that I am the one that's cheating. Whoa. Hey. Whoa. The mental gymnastics, the mind games. Honestly impressive. If my gas wasn't lit before then, I don't know what would do it.
If you found out you were pregnant right now, like right this second as you're watching this video, what would your reaction be?
Guys, I have two girls in my neighborhood that I always drive past, walk past me. One just walked past my car that slept with my ex, or talked to my ex, cheated with him behind my back, whatever. And one of them, the one that walked past today, I'm sitting here talking on my phone and I see her. I was so proud because I kept talking and I finished my TikTok and wasn't even like phased. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to make content from this. If you're going to be walking around my area, if my ex has done the ABC, I'm going to make motherfucking content. She followed me for so long. I've made TikToks about her. She asked me if I got a BBL, where I got it done. She's a bit of like an influencer, I guess you could say, but I've blocked her now because she messaged me. We were broken up, okay? That's the truth. But she knew he was my ex. She had followed me, always asking where I got ABC done. See us at the gym every day together, which I find so sickening. And she would not talk to me when I was with him out. I wonder why. Because when I wasn't there and you saw him at a festival, well, he would have went for her too. He's like that. He goes for any girl with any interest, and he probably recognized her too from the gym. And then they spent all night together and she's messaging me 2 days later. Oh my God, look, screenshot, your ex keeps messaging me. Girl, he called me 1,000 times on private. He's messaging every Tom, Dick and Harry. Like, I don't get how these girls think that they are special. I don't get it. I think sometimes girls as well with the following think, oh my God, he loves me because of my following. He thinks I'm so, no. It doesn't matter if you got 1 million or 1,000. He's going to cheat on you like he cheated on me and every other girl he's ever been with. That's why he was posted in public Facebook groups that I wasn't even in for abusing other women that I still have the screenshots of. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I can't post it because it's got his photo in it. But yeah, I just know for a fact, a girl that goes on about where I got my body done, the truth is, when she saw him, I don't believe it's because they want each other. He wanted her because, one, she's a girl, and two, it's bad, and he's a bad guy, and he knows that would hurt, and she knows he was with me, which means if he wants her, then she must be on my level and be as good as me. And you would only go for a woman's man if you thought she was worth something, because if you thought she was a fucking loser with a loser, then you would never go for that man. You'd be grossed out. But she thought he was so good because he was with me. Mind you, he was completely broke, balding, horrible, smashing up my house, kicking in my front door, punching every hole in the wall, screaming he's going to unalive himself after I found out about every girl. I'm sorry, I'm not well. I'm going to go to counseling. Let's go to counseling. I'll pay for it, to be with me, yeah? She was actually super lucky because he didn't do that to her. She just got like a night with him and then realized, oh wow, he's crazy messaging 100 times. Yes. Imagine the amount of private calls I got, my girl. Well, the kicked in door says enough, right? So anyway, she walked past me and guys, I can't be mad. She wants to feel better about herself by being with other women's men's. How can you actually be angry at someone like that? Like 10 years ago, in my early 20s, I would have been like, bro, you're a hoe, like la 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 la. But it's not about that. She does not feel good. And I'm insecure, but it is not with men. I feel sick to think I would think so low of myself if I went for someone's ex that I knew. I have had girls on my Instagram that I have never spoke to. Yeah, we follow each other, but never spoke to. Exes contact me and I've told them to fuck off or block them or never responded because I don't know the girl, but I don't want your fucking trash, because I guarantee that girl threw you to the trash. And the man's probably going around saying, she did ABC. Now, there's another girl. She always walks past my area. I think she lived in Zetland when he was cheating on me with her, right? This one, he was cheating on me. Like, well, we're together. Oh, and when we broke up, because I saw messages saying, like, because I would break up with him and he would literally leave, text her and go to her house. So I'd kick him out and he would text her and go. And I saw text messages to his mates saying how bad her fucking breath was. God knows what he said about me too, guys. I didn't say anything to his mates about me, but I know he said shit about me to girls, because of course men do when they are horrible to a girl. They say that she's crazy because they're like of what we do. It's not. Anyway, I went blank. Sorry. So he wrote all this stuff about her, which she has no idea. And like, she walks around with her fucking blonde hair. Okay. She needs to redo extensions, which I feel really bad. That's actually mean of me. Okay. I'm being a bitch. She defended him and, lied for him when he was sitting next to me. So he admitted her because he was trying to get me back. And I swear to you guys, I've done a story time about this ages ago too. I knew there was a girl. I fucking knew in my soul. He admitted it. He showed me her Instagram, and then I messaged her. She messaged him while I was sitting next to him saying, what do I say to Rosie? She told me, I don't want drama. I don't want to get involved, while messaging him. Oh, what do you want me to say? I'll cover whatever the fuck she was saying. What kind of woman are you? Okay, don't tell me. Don't get involved. Block him and me then, because he's the drama. He brought the drama. Like, girls like that, I feel even worse for because you really believe you are not worth any loyalty. You really believe that this man, that you're not the only one. There were hundreds of girls he was messaging, yeah? You really believe he's just looking at you. What about the other girl that's walking past my car? You can only feel bad. And like, I just feel like now I'm so proud because this year I've said I'm not using things against myself. These two girls are walking around, well, 2 charity cases. Maybe I'll offer them $1 to get some counseling. I'm joking. Being immature. But yeah, it's like, I'm so proud that like my first instinct isn't that bitch, that, like it would have been years ago. My instinct now is like, that poor fucking girl. She's so lucky she didn't get her doors kicked in. She is so lucky she got away. That's all I can think now. I just got away a little bit later and had a lot more stuff damaged.
Last night, my husband of 11 years decided to throw the entire family in the trash. He cheated and he threw the family, the kids, the house, the dogs, everything in the fucking the groceries in the trash. And let me tell you how I caught him. So I went to this place with my client. It's called the Soho Spa. And it is a spa that it's supposed to be like a day thing. And me and my client were going to be going. My kids were going to be in school. And being that my kids were going to be in school, well, nobody really had to watch them. And my husband could just be home relaxing. I'm on my way to the Soho Spa with my client. And an emergency happens with her life that she can no longer go to the Soho Spa with me. So in that moment, it was an emergency where I had to handle it with her. And I forgot to call my husband and tell him like, hey, I'm no longer going to be going to the spa anymore. I'm on my way home. So I didn't give him that call. I drop off my client, I'm on my way home, but I'm still just so in my mind and thinking about her situation that I still didn't even think to call him. Like, I'll see him when I get home. I pull up to my house, not thinking of anything of it because where my mind is at. And then on top of it, I'm just like really not paying attention to the cars parked out front of my house. I have street parking. I don't have garage parking. So I just walk into my house, open the door, walk into my house, go straight upstairs to my room. And I don't think anything of it. Open my door. There's a woman on my bed. A woman on my bed. And still at this moment, do I think that my husband is cheating on me? No, I do not. I think that there's an intruder in my house. I think, what the heck are you doing in my house? Get out. I'm screaming. I'm freaking out. She's butt naked. Then I hear big, huge, loud man coming up the stairs. And it's my husband. I look at him. He looks at me. I look at him. And he looks at me. And I put 2 and 2 together that he's cheating on me. So what do? What don't I do? I start freaking out, screaming, throwing things, breaking things, trying to beat her up, trying to hit him, trying to do so much. And he's trying to break it up. And she's trying to gather her thoughts. Her clothes are everywhere, so she's trying to put her clothes on. She finally gets dressed and bolts out of the bedroom. And don't you know he follows her? He follows her and leaves me there. And in that moment, I sat there on that couch, not on the couch, on the bed, and I just like cried. I cried. And then after 5-10 minutes, he comes back into the house in the bedroom, and he just looks at me, and I look at him, and he was like, I didn't know. I just don't want to be with you no more. I don't like you. Like, I should have never cheated on you. I should have just left you. And I was like, wow. So everything just down the drain. Everything. And it was such a hard time for me. And then the next morning when I woke up from that dream, I just felt like I still can't even look at him. I still can't even deal with him. Like, I cannot, because you cheated on me in that dream. And I'm still mad about it. I still got feelings. Yeah, it's going to take a minute to get over this one.
You can't get on the subway without getting clocked in the mouth. I mean, it smells disgusting. There are rats the size of Pomeranians. It's really a horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah, I want to live there someday.
Story time on how my mom found out that I was getting down. So me and my boyfriend, we were at Wawa, and I left my phone at his house to charge. And my mom was like texting me, like spam calling me, but I didn't have my phone on me. So we get home from Wawa and he notices that my mom is like spam calling me. So I pick up my phone and I open the messages. I'll like put a screenshot of what she said. How she found the pregnancy test was my sister was looking in my bag for panty liners and she found the 2 pregnancy tests, so she snitched on me. So thank you. But like I was scared for my life. Like I did not go home for like 2 hours after, because I knew as soon as I went home she was gonna take my phone and yell at me and make me break up with him. So I was like, no, I'm not coming home till you calm down. But then she started threatening me with the cops, so I was like, okay, I gotta go. I'm on the way home and his sister is driving me home and he's in the car too. I was telling my boyfriend, like, you have to come in with me, like I'm not doing. And he agreed to talk to my mom because it's like, it's not my fault, it's also his fault. So I was like, Mom, come down here and talk. And she goes, no, what you're gonna do is piss on the stick and give me the phone. So I had to go upstairs, grab the pregnancy test, obviously pee on it. It was negative. Like 30 minutes later, he's like on the top of the stairs, and like my boyfriend at the time, he went up to like go talk to her, and like she comes out, and then like they were talking from like up the stairs and like downstairs, but he was just like apologizing and saying like, you know, I don't want to break up with her, which we ended up breaking up. So she wasn't yelling at him or anything, and then when he left I was like, wow, like I'm cooked. But I actually wasn't. Literally all that happened was he left, I went upstairs, and I went in my room, and she didn't talk to me for like 3 hours after. And then she came in, didn't yell at me, didn't even talk to me about it. I still have my phone. And she was just talking about something random with my sister. She was obviously so mad, but like, she didn't let me do anything. Like, she didn't let me hang out with my friends. But we just like never like talked about it until like 3 weeks after.
Things my strict parents caught me doing. Starting off strong, they caught me in bed with a boy. And before you ask, girl, who were you in bed with? Like, well, who that boy are? My future fiance. But at that time, obviously, he wasn't my fiance. To paint the picture, basically, imagine a baddie senior year of high school. Okay, at that time, me and Jaden were dating for about 6-7 months. And at that time, my parents worked an overnight shift. So, like, they would leave the house at 10 p.m. and get back into the house at, like, 5 a.m. So, Betty was like, perfect time to invite my man to sleep over, like that. All my siblings, I was like the least rebellious one, so like my parents really trusted Abedi, you know what I mean? And this day specifically, Abedi was having a hard time. She's a little sad, she needed a companion, and my man was like the perfect one to like always cheer up Abedi's mood, you know what I mean? So when my parents left for work, I called up my man and I was like, hey, like, do you want to come over? Like, I need someone to make me happy, okay? So everything was cool and chill. We were watching a movie until we fell asleep, and Abedi is usually the type of person to wake up hella fucking early. So like usually when we be having these hangouts, I be telling my man to leave before my parents come home, okay? And unfortunately, Abedi was really tired and forgot to wake up my man. And if you have strict parents, you know to never tell your parents if you're dating a boy, because then they become more suspicious and then they become on your ass more every time you want to go out. So just picture Abedi sleeping on top of her man's chest, like shit's cool, like shit's fucking sweet. My mom barges into my room, okay? She wakes me up and she's like, who is this man? And when I wake up from my man's chest, I'm like, starstruck. Okay, so my man's an actor for it because he was literally pretending to be asleep while my mom was literally screaming in my face. Okay, and let's not even talk about her reaction. Okay, and the next thing my parents caught me with is a yard. If you don't know what that are, girl, just scroll. You're too young to be in this video right now. And to set the scene, basically I was like freshman year of high school, and at that time I had no idea my parents looked through my trash because I thought that shit was disgusting. Like, I didn't know my parents were raccoons for it. And ever since that day that they found that yard, they would do routinely rug tests. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And every time they would do a surprise rug test, girl, I would play in their fucking face like that. And just for a little bit of context, listen, Abedi was a scholar. Like, I had good grades, but Abedi would occasionally dabble in a little za here and there with her friends. So Abedi's method in playing in my parents' face is basically I would pour water on my
rug test, if you know what I mean. So it would come out invalid, or I would like ask one of my friends to give me their pics because they're just a real one. Like the fuck. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 because a baddie could truly go on. This is the finished makeup look. I will be posting more on YouTube, so please go subscribe. The link is in the bio. As always, I love you guys so much. Bye.